Alright, so today I'm going to be showing you how to do a cast iron procedural material. I'm going to go over my scene setup real quick. I got this set to cycles, and I have the denoiser turned on in the viewport. And over here in the output I have 1920 by 1920. In the world properties I have this environment texture, HDRI, industrial pipe and valve from Polyhaven. And I got the strength set to 1. And over here in render I have the transparency turned on under the film tab so you don't see the HDRI. I have this area light set up at an angle pointing towards the origin, and I have it set to 30 watts. I'm going to shift A and add an icosphere, and I'm going to change the subdivisions to 5. I'm going to right click and shade that smooth. I'm going to press N and change this dimensions to 0.3 for everything. Scale it down. Press Ctrl A and apply the scale. Go up under the shading tab. I'm going to click new to add a new material. And over here I'm going to shift A and add a Voronoi texture and a color ramp. I'm going to plug the distance of the Voronoi to the factor of the color ramp, and I'm going to add another noise texture over here. Color goes to the vector. With the node wrangler enabled, I'm going to Control T on the noise texture to add coordinate and mapping nodes. I'm just going to move these over a little bit. Alright, this is going to be our first mask. I'm just going to drag the slider of our color ramp over a little bit, about to there. I'm going to change the Voronoi scale to 40, and leave everything else the same. And on the noise texture, I'm just going to leave the scale at 5, change the detail to 15, and I'm going to change the roughness to a 0.7. I'm going to move this slider over just a little bit. I'm going to come up under here. I'm going to add another noise texture with Shift A. Just put that right here. I'm going to add another color ramp. I'm going to plug this up. I'm going to come over here and plug that mapping vector to the vector of the noise texture. And this is going to be our second mask. So for this one, I'm going to change the scale to 7 and the detail to 15 and the roughness to a 0.7. I'm going to Control Shift click on the color ramp to preview it. And I want this to be a little bit more dense. I'm going to slide this over real quick so we can see. Alright, so what I'm going to do, instead of changing the noise texture scale, I'm going to go over to the mapping scale and change the scale to 20 for everything. And it'll change the other mask as well. But that's okay because I want this to be pretty dense. I'm going to drag that over. I'm going to Shift A and add a mix color node. I'm going to plug this top mask into the factor. And over here on color A, I'm going to go 30, 30, 30 FF. And color B, I'm going to type in 93, 93, 93 FF. If you want to use the exact colors I'm using. Here's what it looks like so far. If we Control Shift click to preview that, I'm going to add another mixed color node over here. I'm going to put the output of the first mixed color into color B, and the second mask output of the color ramp goes into the factor. Color A, I'm going to go for 363331 FF. This is going to be a little bit more of a brownish gray. Alright, this is looking kind of boring so far. So I'm going to add a noise texture and a color ramp so we can plug this up to a bump node. I'm just going to connect these two. And on this noise texture, I'm changing the scale to 200. I'm going to change the detail to 15 and the roughness to a 0.7. Control-Shift-Click to preview this. I want this to be more contrasty, so I'm going to adjust these sliders. I'm going to move the black slider to about here. I'm just going to take this white slider and slide it over a bit. I'm going to Shift-A and add a bump node and plug it up. And I'm going to plug that color ramp into the hot and change the strength to a 0.1. And if we preview this, we have a little bit of a bump going on now. I'm going to re-enable the principled BSDF, plug up that mixed color to the base color and the bump to the normal. And here's what it's looking like. It's a little bit better. I'm going to add another bump node. I'm just going to stick it up here. I'm going to plug in the first mask output of the color ramp into the hot. I'm going to plug this up to the normal of our other bump map, set the strength to 0.1, and I'm going to invert this one. I'm just going to move these down a little bit. Alright, so here's what it's looking like so far. It's coming together, but we got to add some metallic and roughness as well. I'm just going to slide these over and move these around to give us a little bit more space. I'm going to go Shift-A and add a color ramp. This is going to be for our metallic. So what I'm going to do for this one, I'm going to change this black value to a very light gray, not completely white, but just a little bit darker, maybe about there, maybe a little lighter. I'm going to take that first mask, I'm going to plug that color ramp into this new color ramp into the factor. I'm going to plug this up into the metallic of our principled BSDF. This is going to give it a little bit of a metallic, very slight metallic specs. I'm going to Shift-A and add another color ramp. And I'm going to add a mixed color node. This one's going to be for our roughness. I'm going to drag this black slider up a little bit. I'm going to take this white slider and move it all the way left. And this black value, I'm just going to increase that a little bit brighter. So it's a little bit lighter than a medium gray. I'm going to plug that color into color A of our mixed color. And for the color B, I'm going to type in 707070FF. And for the factor, I'm going to plug in the second mask's color ramp output. And we're going to plug that mixed color result into the roughness. There's what it's looking like so far. Now one more thing I want to do is I'm going to add a hue saturation value between the mixed color output and our base color. I'm going to change the value to a 0.2. And by changing the value, you can change the brightness of the metal of your cast iron color. So you can have a dark cast iron or a lighter color. If we zoom in, you can see kind of what it's looking like. Alright, and here's what we're looking like in cycles. Just rendered in the viewport. Alright, so now here it is in a fuller view in the viewport, just rendered to 1024 samples. It's looking pretty good. You can see areas of shininess and roughness, and that bump's coming up pretty good. And here's some other items I've put it on as a demonstration. And you can join these together in a node group and add ambient occlusion as well, and that looks pretty good as well. And that's pretty much it. I appreciate you watching, and like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this.